صاحب العصر والزمان صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الفاتحة. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله، وعلى أهل بيتك المعصومين الأبرار الميامين المظلومين المضطهدين. السلام عليك وعلى ولدك المظلوم أبي عبد الله الحسين. يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، يا غريب يا مظلوم يا عطشان كربلاء، ما خاب والله من تمسك بكم، وأمنا من لجأ والتجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وآمنوا بما أنزلت مصدقا لما معكم ولا تكونوا أول كافر به ولا تشتروا بآياتي ثمنا قليلا وإياي فاتقون ولا تلبسوا الحق بالباطل وتكتموا الحق وأنتم تعلمون وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واركعوا مع الراكعين. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear brothers and sisters, Rasulullah's mission was a difficult one. And it was difficult not only because of the world in which he was spreading the message of Islam, but because of the natures of the people. Because those people were not only worshippers of idols, but they were also people who believed in a certain social status. They believed in very archaic traditions, and indeed they were ignorant. If you have a community in which when a girl is born and they bury her alive because they consider it unworthy for them to have a girl, i.e. she is not as good as a boy, that speaks enough about what sort of a society this is. And that if a woman was married to a man and the man died, then the son of that man had the right, the son from another wife, to put a bag over her head and claim her as his property. These were the traditions in those times. So you can imagine what Rasul's task was. And he was surrounded by people who, even after proclaiming the message, after coming to Medina, still maybe didn't accept that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam is the messenger of truth. In Mecca, it's one thing. In Mecca, it's difficult because you feel you are being persecuted, right? When you feel things are difficult, the society is not like yours, everyone is against you, everyone is persecuting you, you feel, you struggle, you question, maybe you even despair because you've been treated so poorly. And then when you escape and you come to Medina, and now the whole society is Muslim. And now everybody is Muslim. And Rasulullah has made brotherhood between the Muslims. One Ansar and one Muhajir, brother. And he has built a mosque. And he has gone out and he has fought battles at Badr and at Uhud and at Khandaq and different small battles, and Islam is growing. Islam is becoming stronger and more people are joining Islam. Now, why would people doubt? Why would people have doubt in the religion? And the same question can be asked about us. That it's not doubt that you're going to leave the religion. No. There's no doubt that we are Muslim, that we believe in Allah, we believe in Quran, we believe in the Risala, we believe in Imama, we believe in Yawm al-Akhirah, in the Mi'ad, etc., etc. That's not the question. The question is doubting on small things. That why is it that on certain things we just don't hold on strong enough? We let them slide. The small pieces of our aqeedah, the small pieces of conviction that require us to be multazim, to be deeply ingrained, we let it go. Maybe we don't consider it to be important. Maybe we consider that Allah is forgiving, so He will forgive it all. These small things don't really matter. They don't really concern us so much, because the bigger things we believe in. We believe in you, Ya Allah. We do our salah. We believe in Rasulullah. In Ashura, we wear black and we sit and listen to Imam Hussein's legacy. We weep tears. The other stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why? Because maybe there's doubt in our mind as to the significance of those things. And yet, Quran is always pointing, history is always pointing to the fact that if you are going to grab onto deen of Allah, grab onto it completely, 100%. Don't take it 50%, don't even take it 90%, take it 100%, and strive to keep taking it for 100%. You know that when finally Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he got the Muslimin together, and this was now in approximately the 8th year after Hijrah, he leaves Medina and he starts to head towards Mecca. And he wants to do Umrah and he wants to do Hajj, and he wants to show the Muslims the way of performing these pilgrimages. So they leave, they start to approach Mecca. As they approach Mecca, the kuffar of Quraysh see the Muslims are coming, and immediately they send somebody out to meet them before the Muslims enter into Mecca. And as they come, there is a man named Suhail ibn Amr. He comes to meet Rasulullah, and you know this story very well. He comes and meets Rasulullah. He says, look, Muhammad, you cannot come in this year. We don't think it is appropriate for you to come and do your pilgrimage and whatever it is your religion requires of you. Instead, we think you should turn around and go back. Rasul has a discourse with him, and eventually they agree to make a treaty. Now, the intelligence of this, sometimes we don't get, but we forget that this is Rasulullah. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He doesn't do anything of his own whim. It is Allah guiding him. Allah shows him and instructs him how to behave. So he says, okay, we will make a treaty. And you know the story, that Suhail ibn Amr says, let's write it down. And Rasul calls Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says, Ya Ali, write. Suhail, he says, this is a treaty between the tribes of Quraysh and Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Before that, he writes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Suhail, he objects. He says, no, why Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? We don't accept this terminology. This is a Muslim thing. Instead, say Bismika Allahumma or something like that. Rasul says, fine. He says, Ya Ali, write Bismika Allahumma. Just write it like that. Second, it says this is a treaty between the Qurayshi tribe and Muhammad ibn Abdullah or Rasulullah. Immediately he objects. He says, no Rasulullah. We don't think that this should be Rasulullah. If we accepted you as Rasulullah, there would not be any reason to be sitting here and having a treaty and having this sort of an issue. So immediately Imam Ali pulls his hand because Rasul says, Ali, write down Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Don't worry, just write it. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, Ya Rasulullah, I don't know you as anything other than Rasulullah. There is nothing else I know you as. You are Rasulullah to me. What else? How else am I going to write this? So Rasul in his own handwriting puts Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Now the treaty says that this year Muslims cannot do Hajj. Muslims must go back to Medina. The next year they can come back if they want to do Umrah. And that the treaty says that there will be no fighting between the Muslims and the kuffar of Quraysh or the tribes of Quraysh, nor any of their allies. So if there is an ally of the Muslim, there will not be any battles with the allies of the Muslims and the allies of the Quraysh. This is agreed upon. They signed the treaty. Now they say, as the treaty is being signed, some companions, they come and they object. They come and they say, Ya Rasulullah, these are Muslims. These are Muslims from the early days of Islam. These are not new Muslims. They have been Muslim for over a decade. Over 10 years they have been Muslim. They have been by Rasulullah's side. They have watched him migrate from Mecca to Medina. They have watched him in battle. They have stood by his side. And they come and they say, Ya Rasulullah, what sort of treaty is this? Why are we allowing them to dictate terms to us about going into Allah's sacred house? We have the numbers, we have enough people, let's just go in. We force our way in. Rasul says, no. This is what Allah has decreed, this is what Allah has determined. They themselves, they say, this is in the history, there are some of them, big companions, who say, if ever we had doubted about the Risala of Muhammad, it was at this time. We had doubt in our heads. Now imagine if these are the same individuals who later on possibly take positions of leadership in the community and possibly assume a position where people look to them to provide guidance. What sort of guidance it's going to be, and how the Muslim community itself is going to face a rocky time, and how difficult that must be. That not only when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he dies and leaves this world, but they start to argue that who is going to be the Khalifa, and not only who is going to be the Khalifa, but well, I am a Muhajir, so I was with Rasulullah when he left Mecca. I am an Ansar, I supported, I have more right, I am this, I am that. And eventually, it settles on Abu Bakr, who is then chosen. And he is placed as the first Khalifa of the Muslim nation. So you can imagine that there were many, many, many arguments. And that those arguments and those disagreements didn't stop. They existed in the fabric of the society. And there existed those who said, no, it lies with Amir al-Mu'mineen. There are said it lies with somebody else. And that is the state of the Muslim Ummah. And this continues. And you see that today, is it not the same? Today, we cannot agree with each other on small things. Forget about our brothers and sisters of the Ahl Sunnah and us. We may have disagreements with them, they have with us, but us Shia, we cannot agree with each other. Us Shia, we don't agree with each other. Us Shia, we will have a community where we will have one mosque in the community in the beginning, and watch and see, 20 years later, it's 5 mosques. And this is not just in big cities where you've got lots of population. Having lots of mosques is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Having lots of jama' is good. But why did they form? Why did they occur? That even in small communities where there are few people, you see people are breaking apart. Why is there no reason to reform what you already have rather than breaking apart? Right? You have 2 options. One option is break apart. That's the easy option. I don't agree with you, so I'm going to make my own mosque. I don't agree with you, so I'm going to start my own center based on my nationality, my culture, my language, whatever I want, so I start. That's the easy way out. The harder way is reform. The harder way means I stay where I am and I ensure that what Rasul taught, I'm going to live by it, and I'm going to try to convince people that this is the way of Rasulullah. And I'm going to try to point to what is right. And you see that in the lives of even the Bani Israel, this was happening. This was indeed happening in the lives of Bani Israel. That when Musa alayhi salam, now the beauty of Musa alayhi salam's story is that it's rich with prophetic mission. The legacy of Musa alayhi salam is not just about him and Harun alayhi salam. It starts with Israelullah, and even before Israelullah, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Khalilullah. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, has his two sons. And not only does he have his two sons, but from one son Ishaq comes Yaqub alayhi salam, who is Israelullah, who has Yusuf alayhi salam, and he also has Binyamin. And from Lu'ay, the second eldest brother, the lineage of prophethood comes to Musa alayhi salam. So there's lots of prophethood, lots and lots of prophethood. Now why so many prophets? So many prophets were sent, one after the other. Wasn't one prophet enough? Muslims only had one prophet. Muslims had one Rasul, right? No, in fact, all of them are our prophets. But to that community of Bani Israel, one prophet after another prophet, after another prophet, after another prophet, as the Quran is talking about. And they are mentioned so much in the Holy Quran about all the prophets who came to them. Why? Because society constantly needs reform. Society constantly needs change. Because people, after a while, they start to drift. They start to move. And I recited the ayah for you yesterday that says, وَحَسِبُوا أَلَّا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةٌ فَعَمُوا وَصَمُّوا ثُمَّ تَابَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ ثُمَّ عَمُوا وَصَمُّوا. They thought no trial is going to come. They were blind, they were dumb. Allah's fitna came, they went the wrong direction. Allah forgave them again. They were blind and they were dumb. They moved away, they didn't pay attention. And that legacy of Musa alayhi salam, you see, you have a community that has been guided and constantly is drifting, constantly is drifting. Our societies are the same way today. We have moments where we do things that are profound, is it not? Our children can see it, that there are times when we're so unified. We're so strong, especially when there's a tragedy, wal-hayadu billah. If there's a tragedy, we are together. Everyone comes together. Just like our broader community in America. If there is a major tragedy in America, everyone comes together, right? But if things are okay, things are good, then everyone is high on their differences with somebody else. They don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept the viewpoint of anyone else. They don't want to listen to anyone else. And dissension and discord reigns everywhere. So now Musa alayhi salam, he is leaving Egypt. When he left Egypt, I don't know how many of you know this, but he took the body of Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf had been buried in Egypt. He took the body out by Allah's permission. He removed the body, kept it preserved in the coffin, and moved it to Palestine, towards the Holy Lands in Palestine, to bury him over there. But you can see the legacy. So now he goes in, they cross over the Red Sea, they come into the desert, and as they come into the desert, you see that they stop. The people are restless. You've got 12 tribes, hundreds and thousands of people. There's not really a lot of food. People of different status, some who were traders, many who were slaves. People are arguing with each other. What are we doing out in the desert for so long? When are we going to go and settle the world? Allah told us, إِنِّي فَضَّلْتُكُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. I chose you, Bani Israel. So where is our chosen land? Suddenly our chosen land hasn't come. Our Muslims didn't think this in the early days. The Muslims, when they left Mecca and they went to Medina, they said, Ya Rasulullah, why are we having to face so much difficulty? Not only do we have kuffar of Quraysh coming and attacking us and plaguing us continuously, but we've got the munafiqeen who live in Medina itself and create discord. The Romans are descending upon us. Other tribes are attacking us. There's no utopia. Where is the Muslim society that is peaceful and everything is great for us? Because again, you assume that because everything is a Muslim utopia or everyone is Muslim, that things are going to be great. No, there is constant need for reform. It's just human nature that wherever you live, eventually you need some reform. It's human nature. Whether it is Muslim society, Christian society, secular society, at some given point you need reform. Even look in our country today, what we face. The country that we live in today, so many people, and I am not sitting here making a political statement from the mimbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. I'm saying some people will contend that we need reform to gun laws in our country. Do we not? Some people will say that. Some people will say, no, there's no need for reform in gun laws. It's not the gun that kills people, it's people who kill people, right? That exists in any society. So how do you change that? How do you ensure that reform is proper? Now I'm going to speak from a Muslim perspective. That when Musa alayhi salam is in the desert and he gets called up to Tur Sayna. He gets called up to Tur Sayna and the ayah of the Holy Quran describes it. وَوَاعَدْنَا مُوسَى 30 لَيْلَةً وَأَتْمَمْنَاهَا بِعَشْرٍ. We promised Musa 30 nights. Now it's strange that it didn't say 30 days. It says 30 nights. And the ulama, they explain, the tafasir of the Quran explains that the night has great significance. Why? Because it is the moment when Allah communicates with the ibad. It is the time when the communication is very profound in the night time. So he says, وَوَاعَدْنَا مُوسَى 30 لَيْلَةً وَأَتْمَمْنَاهَا بِعَشْرٍ فَتَمَّ مِيقَاتُ رَبِّهِ 40 لَيْلَةً. So 30 days were promised, 10 more were added to it, it went to a total of 40. وَقَالَ مُوسَى لِأَخِيهِ هَارُونَ أَخْلُفْنِي فِي قَوْمِي وَاصْلِحْ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Musa alayhi salam, he calls his brother before he goes and he says, my brother Harun, I'm leaving. أَخْلُفْنِي فِي قَوْمِي. Be my Khalifa. The word Khalifa is used, okay? The word Khalifa is used. That be my Khalifa, I am leaving, and make sure that you do sulh, waslih, وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Don't follow the crooked ways of those people who do fasad. Now this word fasad, when Musa alayhi salam, he's telling his brother Harun alayhi salam that don't follow the way of those people who do fasad. What is the meaning of fasad? Fasad in English, if you translate, is corruption, essentially, right? It's just corruption. Now, I ask you that corruption in English can mean a lot of things. But if you simplify the meaning of fasad, you find that, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I have an apple. Actually, apples are too healthy. Let's go, you got a donut, okay? You got a donut. I'm from Canada, so I like maple donuts. And Michigan is like the only state that has Tim Hortons, which is a proud Canadian company, by the way. None of the other states has Tim Hortons, so I'm always happy to see Tim Hortons over here when I come. So let's say you've got a maple donut, yeah? How much does that maple donut cost? Maybe like 75 cents? I don't know. How much do donuts cost today? Like $1? $1, okay? It's $1, all right? Not a lot. You've got that donut, you don't eat it, yeah? You leave it, you purposefully leave it. You wanted to eat it, but you were careless. Who cares? You got lots of money. You got lots of money, you only spent $1 on it. You left the donut, you let it sit there on your countertop for like 3 weeks. I don't know, 3 weeks maybe. After 3 weeks, what does it look like? Someone tell me. It looks rotten, right? It has become completely rotten. You decide, man, I spent $1 on it. I need to get my money back. There's no way I'm going to lose my money. I didn't eat the donut. You take that donut after 3 weeks, you go out in the street, you tell your friend, look, I'll sell this to you. I paid $1 for it, but I'll give it to you for 50 cents. Will they take it? They'll look at it after 3 weeks. What does it look like? It's probably got mold growing on it. It's probably decaying. It's got maggots in it, God knows what, right? You say, I'll give it to you for 10 cents. He'll say, you know what he'll say? He'll say, you'll have to pay me to take it, right? You'll have to pay me to take it. Why? What did you do to that donut? It had a value in the beginning, and what did you do to the value of it? You ruined it. You ruined the value of that thing. Now the value of it is gone. It's lost. That is fasad. Fasad is to take anything of value and destroy it. Destroy its value. That can be knowledge. That can be social power, social engagement, social capital, investment in your youth, in anything. You destroy the value of something, you have done fasad. Right? Simple. If you have strength in your community and you bring people together for things that are good and you on purpose are creating fitna, what is that? It's a destruction of value. It is destruction of something that has been placed to benefit others. Although a donut, I don't know how much it's going to benefit you, so my example was probably not good. I should have stuck with the apple. Anything that benefits and you destroy its value is a form of fasad. So now Musa alayhi salam, he says, look, Harun, I'm leaving you here. You're going to be a khalifa. You have to do islah. And then on top of it, don't follow the way of those people who are mufsideen. He spends 40 days, 40 nights on Turi Sayna. He receives the tablets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of the Tawrat, and he descends back down. You know the story. He comes back. He sees that they are worshipping the gold calf that the Samiri has created for them. And what happens? He grabs the beard of Harun. He grabs the beard. When he grabs the beard of Harun alayhi salam, his brother, Harun alayhi salam, he says, Yabna He calls him the son of my mother. He doesn't say, now the beauty of the Quran is how does he address him? He could have said, O Musa, O Nabi Allah, O Rasul Allah, O Kalim Allah. He can say Sahib al-Kitab, Sahib al-Sharia. No, he says, O the son of my mother. He calls him, O the son of my mother, invoking mercy in him. He says, Yabna He says, La ta'khudh bilihyati, wala bira'si. Don't take by my beard, don't clutch onto my head and blame me. Inni khashitu an taqula farraqta bayna bani Israel, walam tarqab qawli. I was worried, I was fearful that you will go and come back and you will tell me that I created divisions in the community. Look at Harun's answer. Harun alayhi salam's answer is, I was worried that you are going to say to me that you caused divisions and made Bani Israel break up into pieces. Look at the burden on that Khalifa. The Khalifa of that Rasul who is left behind, the burden is what? Is to keep people together and listen to the commandments and the instructions of that Rasul. And when he says to him that أخلفني في قومي وأصلح do islah. That reformation, how difficult is that? You have one opinion, someone else has a different opinion, there's a third opinion there, everyone is not listening to the other, and here is the Khalifa has to keep everyone together. Everyone is going astray, but he is trying to keep you together. That is a tough task. And so now, you see that Harun alayhi salam, he basically says this to Musa. Musa alayhi salam lets go of the beard and the head, and he scolds the community. You know the story after this. But I say to you that when you think about Harun and Musa's story, particularly Harun alayhi salam, and you understand the meaning of islah, right? When he says, وَأَصْلِحْ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ, you know the meaning of Rasulullah when he says, إِنَّكَ مِنِّي بِمَنْزِلَتِي هَارُونَ مِنْ مُوسَى إِلَّا أَنَّهُ لَا نَبِيَّ بَعْدِي. You know how difficult it was for Ali ibn Abi Talib. Why? Because you just imagine what Harun alayhi salam went through. And that when Musa came and saw, and Harun said, look, I was afraid you're going to break the community. You would accuse me and tell me that I've broken up the community. Imagine now Ali ibn Abi Talib. And what his state was and how he behaved. And that's why you see that in every way there are three things, even in our societies. Our societies are built on stability based on equity and care. for society to remain stable, forget about society. Let's say you have a center and a mosque. For that mosque to remain, or that center, or that organization to be stable, you need to have what? Resources, right? You need money. You need to have something that'll feed the people and keep the people materially happy. You need to have empathy, and you need to have awareness. 3 things. Even in society, you will see that. Today, in society, there is an imbalance or a disparity of riches. You see it. The rich have become richer. We hear it in the news in America. The rich have become richer, and the poor are becoming poorer. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. And people are saying that it's because this is the way our society has become. The capitalistic system is pushing for this widening of the gap between the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor. So there's a disparity in wealth. The second thing is awareness. Most people don't care about somebody else. Do they really? Do we really care that as long as I have the food in my mouth, it doesn't matter whether someone else is eating or not? I'm fed. I'm fed. It doesn't matter. I have what I need, so it doesn't matter what anyone else is going through. And you see, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. That the way of Ahl al-Bayt is that I only have one piece of bread, I give it away. I only have one piece of bread on the second night, I give it away. Third night, same thing, I give it away. You have a feeling that I have to give. And even empathy. I asked this question, and I will finish with this. That are human beings born empathetic? Are we born to care for others? Imam Ali alayhi salam, he could have said, look, you're on your own, I'm gone, right? You didn't recognize me, I'm leaving. Harun could have done the same thing. The minute they started worshiping the gold calf, he could have said, you're not listening to me, you're not listening to my brother, I'm leaving. Do what you want. Go fall in the pits of hell. No, he stayed there. He didn't leave. He stayed in the community. He kept trying to convince them and change them and convince them of what is correct. So I asked this question, that are we born empathetic? Are we born, does a human being have something inside of them that makes them caring from the beginning? So there's some science. You guys know I always bring science into it. There is some science in which they took babies, little babies, like 1.5 years, all right, 2 years of age, small little kids. And they showed them like a scene with puppets. This is an actual study. And they showed one puppet is pushing up a block up a hill. All right, so there's someone behind holding a puppet, and he's pushing the block up the hill and pushing it up the hill and pushing it up the hill, and he gets the block to the top of the hill. They show that puppet, and the little babies are watching it like it's a play. Then what they do is they take a different puppet, one that looks completely different, and he just knocks the block off the top. So all the work that this little puppet did, bringing the block up to the top of the hill, that bad puppet, he knocks it down. He just knocks it down. So they show this to a bunch of little kids, and after that, they say to them, here are the puppets. Which one do you want? Which puppet do you want? The bad puppet who knocked the block down, or the good puppet who was trying to get the block at the top? Guess which one wins? The good puppet. Almost 90% of those kids pick the good puppet. They go for the good puppet. Another study did where they have grown-ups, and the grown-up is trying to do some task, but there's some difficulty, like there's something blocking your way, or I need to reach for something, but it's too far, I can't get to it. And they purposefully set up scenes like this, and they have little kids around them. And they found that in general, little kids, when they see an adult, even a stranger who they don't know, trying to do something and they're having difficulty, the child will help. There's something inside that makes them want to help. There's something that Allah has put inside of us that wants to be good. Yet why is it when we grow older, that goes away? Why? Why is it we grow older and suddenly we don't care anymore? Because we haven't reformed anything. Because we think we were perfect then, we are perfect now. Right? Because I was born perfect, I've stayed perfect. Well, I say this to my wife all the time, that you're lucky because I'm perfect, right? And clearly, that's not true. I don't think there's any need for reformation, so why should I care? But yet the example in the Quran and the Ahl al-Bayt is that reformation is constant. And that's what Imam Hussein is saying. That إني لم أخرج أشرا ولا بطرا ولا مفسدا ولا ظالما ولكن خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمتي جدي. I want reform. I didn't come out for fasad and for my own personal greed and this and that. I came out for reformation, to change. But yet, it's difficult. Why? Because you want to run away. Because the headache is so big, you want to run away. But you have to stay. And you cannot run away. Just like there are those people who on the day of Ashura stood in front of Imam Hussein and called out and they said, where is Abbas ibn Ali? Where is his brother Abdullah, Ja'far and Uthman, the four brothers? Shimr la'natullahi alayhi, he calls and he says, tell them, he calls loudly. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, he comes forward. Shimr la'natullahi alayhi, he says, look, Abbas, you are the relatives of our sister. We give you safe passage. Leave, we won't fight you. Go from here. We give you safe passage. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas raises his voice. He says, how dare you? You give us safe passage and Banat Rasulillah are going to sit here under your sword? You give us safe passage and Al-Hussein is going to stand your aggression and your assault? Take and keep your safe passage. We will not leave our master Al-Hussein. You see, and that was ingrained in him from the beginning. To stay in the difficultest of situations and struggle and fight and not give up. And that's why even when he was born, they say Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam took him. He read the adhan in his right, the iqama in his left, kissed his right arm, kissed the left arm of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, and he began to cry. When he began to cry, Fatima al-Kilabiyya, the mother, she says, Sayyidi ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you are crying? Is there something deficient in this son of mine? Is there something wrong with him that is making you cry? Is he not worthy? Imam Ali alayhi salam, he looks at al-Baneen and says, I am not crying because Abbas is deficient or that there is anything wrong with him. I am weeping because his right arm and his left arm will be severed when he is defending the life of my son Al-Hussein. He will be defending the religion of God. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas and his brothers, their mother had raised them with a specific type of adab. She told them that you are not the same as Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein. They are not your equal. She taught them that they are the masters and her sons were like the servants to them. They would treat them with the utmost of reverence, the utmost of respect. On the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, standing and watching all of his companions dying, the jeers and the insults from the enemy soldiers did not stop. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, he comes to Imam Hussein. He says, Ya ibn Rasulillah, give me permission so I can go. My chest has become tight because of these things that they are saying. Let me go out and fight against them. Al-Imam al-Hussein, he says, Ya Abbas, you are my standard bearer. You are the backbone of my army. If you go and are lost, then everything will collapse. Go first, Ya Abbas, to the Mashra'a. Go to the river and bring water. The children are crying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Brothers and sisters, when we have our children quench their thirst with a glass of water. We should teach them to say, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. From the youngest of age, let them remember the thirst of Sukayna bint al-Husayn, Ruqayya bint al-Husayn, the thirst of the little children. Abul Fadl al-Abbas, he takes the water skin. He charges out to the river. The enemy soldiers begin to attack. He fights them off and fends them away from every side, finally reaching the Mashra'a. He stops near the water. فأخذ غرفة من الماء ورفعها إلى فمه ليشرب. He took some water from the river and brought it up to his mouth, but immediately threw that water away. شلون أشرب وأخوي حسين عطشان وسكنة والأطفال رضعان والله انقلب العليل التهب نيران رمى الماء من كفه وتحسر. He remembered the thirst of his brother Al-Hussein, the thirst of the children. He dropped the water from his hand. He will not drink until the water reaches the lips of Al-Hussein. He fills the water skin with the water and rides the horse, begins to charge back towards the tents of Al-Imam Al-Hussein. The soldiers again see that he is riding back, immediately begin to attack him, but he fends off their attacks, the spears and the arrows. Suddenly a soldier from behind the tree takes a metal rod, strikes Abul Fadl al-Abbas on the head, فَسَالَتَ الدِّمَاء. All the blood is now seeping from the wound. وَحَمَلَ عَلَيْهِ عَدُو مِنَ الْيَسَارِ فَضَرَبَهُ عَلَى يَمِينِهِ فَقَطَعَهَا. Abul Fadl al-Abbas was attacked and struck on his right arm, cutting the right arm off. He takes the water skin into his left. وحمل عليه آخر فضربه على يساره فقطعها. He struck him on the left side, cutting off the left arm. Abul Fadl al-Abbas takes the water skin into his mouth, racing. This is the heart of the lion. This is the son of al-Banin. This is the son of Amir al-Mu'minin. He is racing back, no hands now, water skin held in his mouth. Suddenly the arrow comes and strikes Abul Fadl al-Abbas in his eye, and a strike from the spear in his chest. Now he begins to fall. He has no hands to hold on to the horse. He calls out and he says, Assalamu alayka ya Sayyidi ya Aba Abdullah, Adrikni ya Sayyidi. I am falling from my horse. My master, come and help me. They say Abul Fadl al-Abbas falls to the ground, and immediately he begins to move. He tries to find the water skin. His only thought is, I must give the water to the children in the tent. But when he opens his eye, he sees the water skin has been pierced with an arrow, and all the water has seeped into the sand of Karbala. Imam Hussein, he races to the battlefield. He comes upon Abul Fadl al-Abbas. The Rawi, they describe that whenever any of the companions, they died, Imam Hussein would race out to them very quickly, getting to their bodies. But when Abul Fadl al-Abbas fell, Al-Imam al-Hussein started to walk very slowly, collapsing in the money of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. He says, الآن انكسر ظهري وقلت حيلتي وشمت بي عدوي. Now my back has broken. Now my strength has gone, Ya Abbas. He holds on to Abul Fadl al-Abbas. وبدأ يمسح الدم من عينه. He started to wipe our poor Imam, wiping the blood from the eye of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. رحم الله من نادى وحسينا 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 وحسينا. Al-Imam al-Hussein takes the head of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. He places it in his lap. These are the last moments of Abul Fadl al-Abbas's life. Abul Fadl al-Abbas drops his head back onto the sand of Karbala. Again, Imam Hussein picks up the head of Abul Fadl al-Abbas, places it on his lap. Again, Abul Fadl al-Abbas drops his head. Third time, again, Imam Hussein picks up the head, places it on his lap. When you are dying, you want to be in the lap of your loved one. But Abul Fadl al-Abbas drops his head to the ground. Imam Hussein, he says, my brother, Ya Abbas, why will you not let me hold your head in my lap? Abul Fadl al-Abbas, he said, Sayyidi Abu Abdullah, if you hold my head in your lap right now, in a little while you will be dead. Who will be holding your head, Ya Allah? Oh, Abbas. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك ونقسم عليك بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها لعن الله ظالميها. اللهم شافي كل مريض. اللهم رد كل غريب. اللهم فك كل أسير. اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك يا كريم. اللهم وفقنا لمراضيك وجنبنا معاصيك وثبت أقدامنا على صراطك المستقيم وخذ بأيدينا إليك يا أرحم الراحمين. وفرج عنا يا الله فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر وهو أقرب من ذلك. وافرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليه وسلم.